Hi guys, it's Tom here, and welcome back once again to the Ukatsu Nation podcast. With me, I have one Michael Clifford Sammons,
Hello.
one Jeffrey Foxion, I don't know your last name,
Mullen,
and one Ben Lucy Brooks.
Is that all the tags to use? That's fine.
I like how you use their tags, but you actually use my middle name.
Clifford is such a
That
good
should
name.
just be your tag now.
Clifford.
the big red dog. You even have
Cliff
red
Dog.
hair.
That's what I'll change it to. Cliff Dog. All right. That would be
Cliff
my.
Dog.
Father Cliff Dog Bar.
Alright, that's how
Father
we're
Cliff.
starting this one off.
That's
I'm
what
not
it's
gonna call you
be.
Cliff Dog.
So Cliff Dog, how's your?
Oh no.
What you been playing, Cliff Dog?
Oh no. I shouldn't have said anything.
I think for the longest time, some people really did not know your name, your first name.
Yeah, they didn't.
Michael.
It's true. They
I
did
was just
not.
calling you Sammons from the beginning, and cause I remember I was calling you Sammons before you told people to start calling you Sammons. Like
Yeah.
I didn't actually know you wanted to refer to as Sammons. I was just like,
Yep.
that's a cool last name. I'm gonna just call him Sammons, and then everyone started calling you Sammons.
I mean, have you seen his
And then you
shirt?
just went by Sammons. Yeah, I don't know if we had that shirt back then. I don't know, maybe you did.
I did.
But I just distinctly remember calling you Sammons before you told people to call you Sammons. And
I
then it
think
just, like,
part of
stuck.
it was you sparked my memory of like back in high school, everyone called me Sammons, and I was like, you know what? It'll be fun to have another friend group calling me Sammons, so I'll just have everyone call me Sammons.
Yeah, it
again.
worked out fine. And then I just love it. Everyone, like someone or like Mickey will say something about where's Mike and who's Mike? Who's Mike?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember she did that on Discord from his Discord once. I was like, wait, who's Mike? Who's this Mike that Sammons is talking about?
That was funny.
I'm so confused.
Oh, man.
It was good.
Has anybody been playing anything interesting lately?
There's Borderlands.
Borderlands 2!
Yeah, enjoying that a lot actually.
Jumping back in.
Yeah, that was the one of I've said this so many times I think, but this is one of the few games my sister and I could play through together for more than an hour at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And we did both Borderlands, every DLC through multiple playthroughs. Like when you get through the second playthrough, they change all the names, of all the characters. That's always
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, it gets harder.
Yeah,
It's
it's a lot of fun.
harder.
True Vault Hunter mode.
Mm-hmm. And Ultimate Vault
I've
Hunter.
never played a lot of Borderlands. I've only ever done like one playthrough.
It's a shame. You know,
Yeah, that is a shame.
keep on keeping on. It's fun.
Yeah, the worst part is always the beginning, because you do the beginning so many times. We started a new
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
We're getting
But
through
yeah,
it.
I
though.
haven't played a whole lot of co-op Borderlands, which is like one of the big selling points. Is it's fun to
Yeah.
play with
It's
friends.
significantly harder.
It
is.
It is a lot harder.
I tried to solo different parts. It's
Yep.
like, wait, actually can't.
wanna-
Physically just don't deal enough
Run
damage.
some of the harder units that just randomly spawn. You're like, oh, this is easy, and then you get like one shot. And you're like, oh.
You're like, why are there three badass psychos hitting me in the face all of a sudden?
And they're tossing these things that follow you around. They're tracking, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to be playing more MK11.
Yeah?
That just came out on Tuesday. And I have not
Combat.
played a single match against another opponent yet. I've just been in the training room.
Yeah.
And as far as this game goes, the 2D fighters, I love fighting games in general. And this is the fighting game that requires much more time in the lab, as they call it, where you have to practice your combo strings over and over and over again. The input timing is pretty important.
What
And,
characters do you find yourself drawn to?
Playing a lot of Cassie Cage. Cassie Cage was introduced in MK10,
Nice character.
Yeah.
and the daughter of Sonya Blade and
Johnny.
Cage, and she's a lot of fun. I like her a lot. And then I've always played a lot of Katana and Jade,
Mm-hmm.
but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I want to play more Cassie.
No Sub-Zero.
No, although his combos are always pretty strong and everything, and we'll see what the meta looks like. A lot of people are playing a lot of Sub-Zero, but we'll see. I want to play it more.
Very nice. Jeffrey.
I've been playing some Rainbow Six League, and then I've actually been playing a lot of Risk of Rain 2.
Nice.
I've been having a lot of fun with that. In fact,
It was fun.
It's a fun game.
2 days ago, they released a small patch and added more items and different shrines and stuff into the game.
Dang,
cool.
that's cool. I know it just came out, and there's definitely a lot of room for new content for that game.
it's
Yeah,
still in alpha technically,
Yeah,
isn't
that'd
it?
Yeah.
that'd be a fun game to play with 4 people. I think.
Yeah, I've played it with 3.
Oh, the
and
The question is,
4 of
though,
us
is it the
have
kind of game that
so-
you play on a couch together, or that you play online together?
It's not co-op. Not split screen co-op, so you
Yeah.
have to be.
It's
I miss the
online.
days of split screen co-op. Like
The
I
game
mean-
Outward had split screen co-op. That game's terrible. glitchy out of
I
its
looked at some of
mind.
the gameplay and I was like, this game kind of looks
It-
good.
it's
And then I
fun.
heard from Ben that
It's
it was
just
just
so
like
glitchy. I was just
glitches.
No, but
galore.
Glitching out of
it's
my mind.
it's a really fun game. It's like a dungeon crawler, 3D dungeon crawler / Binding of Isaac kind of thing.
and I hope that most games of that genre go and we see more third-person perspectives like that because
Yeah.
it's very fun.
And there's a lot of room to grow.
I'm still waiting for that invention that turns online split screen into like in-person split screen.
Isn't that what a LAN
I don't know.
is?
I think that too. I thought that too, but then I tried doing the split screen on Outward, and it was like I can't see my screen.
Well,
I
I mean,
can't
like,
see
the
anything.
invention I'm imagining is like you can use one device, and instead of like having a split screen on one like TV,
Yeah, you can put it up to two
it's got
different
like 4 different monitors, and it just is like
Maybe. Yeah.
So super split screen.
kind of yeah.
Interesting. You could invent that.
I'm waiting
you know.
for the day it's gonna happen.
You can invent it.
You can do it.
I don't know.
I
My
believe.
technical
Patent
skills are kind
pending.
of lacking when it comes to inventing things.
You just need some cables.
Yeah.
And
You guys- how many business people start a business just by finding some guy that knows how to make it and say, you know what, I'm gonna use your skills. Let's do this. And I'm gonna be
Yeah.
your business face, and I'll make all your money for
Hey,
you.
that's
Jobs,
actually what my
what?
brothers did. My brothers-in-law, they came up with a new military design for Jeeps, and it was like how to customize Jeeps. And they actually got contracted by the military to do it. But they didn't have
Nice.
a way to actually mass-produce things, so...
Yeah, he's come up with the
Oh,
idea, and then you
nice.
find someone else to do it for you.
Alrighty. Well, what's new up in Ukatsu, guys? We got high school esports is kind of wrapping up as ever.
Yep. So
We
what-
should know by the time this drops who the champion of champions is,
Not
right?
quite. Well, who will be in the
No.
finals? Who will be in the
Who will be-
finals?
yeah,
We have
who will
one
be in
last
finals.
semifinal game.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be tomorrow, actually, as of the recording of this podcast. And then the finals will be held on May 7th,
May
Tuesday
7th.
of at Hickman Auditorium. So that'll be pretty exciting. It's going to be the last match that we have for this year, the last match for all the seniors, and it's going to be held back at Hickman Auditorium, which is always fun. We at least know how that pace works and sets
Yeah.
up. So the setup will be relatively quick. And our show time and our production's improved a lot since we've been back. So we have a lot of stuff planned for all of the spectators involved. So pretty
Hey-
exciting.
Hey Ben, I have a question. Why did you go with the LEC playoff bracket instead of the NALCS playoff bracket?
Yeah, so a lot of the reasons why, and it's a variation of a double elimination where it gives the first and second seed
Bye.
buys, and they also go against each other in the second round. So it's almost like they're sitting in the winner's side of a double elimination bracket, if that gives you better perspective. And what's really cool about the format, that I really enjoyed, is the fact that it gives you the chance for the 1 and 2 seed to compete against each other. So no matter what, we will see a best-of-5 series against the first and second seed, which is not guaranteed in a normal bracket-style format. And it puts way more emphasis on the third-place match. Normally, right, first and second seed, they go over to grand finals, and you have third and fourth that play against each other to see who gets third, and no one really cares about that. That's not really exciting. And so now you get a match that actually has significance to deciding who gets third place and who goes up to finals. I think a key concern that someone brought up, which makes a lot of sense to me, and it's weird that I hadn't seen anyone bring it up before the LEC format, is even if you are first and second seed and one of you drops down but you make your way back up to finals, there's no bracket reset. So then you could beat whoever you lost to in the first round, and you wouldn't reset the bracket. They could just be out. So that I could see someone or a team getting kind of upset by that. But I think for a lot of the high schoolers here or people in general, maybe they don't know how double elim brackets work. So I haven't actually seen any concerns. But it's just a variation of a double elim bracket. So
Well, there you go. That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
Not one I
Also,
thought to
coming up
ask.
because of the end of the esports season is these esports nights. There will be now 2 of them because we already had one of them. And these are just kind of free nights for anyone who's participated in the esports league to come in and just kind of enjoy themselves.
yeah, all-star events really. A lot of it want to give back to the kids. It's more than anything, they spend a lot of time competing and practicing and want to remember that this is still a time for them to have fun and to interact with their teammates and the other schools. And so it's like a 3-day event where we're doing a lot of fun things. As you said, we did Capture the Flag, Ultimate Frisbee yesterday. We did a 1v1 tournament, a small photo shoot, some interviews, and then we have more positional scrims, so like maybe all top laners versus all junglers next week, and then the actual All-Star match as well on Thursday. So it ends up being a 3-day event. And I mean, Overwatch is really sad that he's getting pushed back, and we're not going to forget about you. If any of you guys listen to the podcast, because don't worry, it's coming somewhere. It's unfortunate that the what was it? The Como Game Expo.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
Yeah, that was
a terrible timing for patches or whatever it was that day where we couldn't connect to the servers. But
And apparently alumni are not allowed to come to these. They're not included in the have played in high school esports.
Yeah,
Well,
because
it's each season,
it's like
yeah.
this season of esports.
But we
it's
didn't
not
have a...
that's basically right. Every single year, once you graduate, you're gonna look back and you're gonna find out they
Wait
get
a
better
minute,
and
no!
cooler things.
that's always how it
every year
goes.
So you always
things
get to be the
get
first.
improved.
I will get to be the first, but...
Yeah, because I'm looking back in Battle High School, it's like 6 variations on their jerseys. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
why they got so many dang jerseys?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
That's the nature of being a senior.
Yeah.
Your year is fun, but then when you leave and you look back, you're like, wow, that
Every
year's
year,
always
yeah.
better.
Everyone younger than you gets to see what you've done, and they're like, I want that, but better. And
Oh,
every
well.
year gets better. Or
I'm sticking
supposedly
with
gets better and
Ukatsu,
better and
so-
better.
I'll get to experience it, but in a different light.
Yeah, makes one wonder what happened to the human race. Like, I want what they have, but better, and then, but you don't keep getting better. In fact, sometimes you get a lot worse. Anyway, off of that diatribe.
Sometimes
In
you
practice,
get a lot
right?
worse.
In practice, it's supposed to be better, right?
2 steps forward, 8 steps back. But-
Yeah.
So, I think it's time, guys, that I get on my soapbox about the best worst thing this week. And that is not mandatory, but national days of or weeks of appreciation or awareness.
National Appreciation Days.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, the thing that got me thinking about this, and this is going to make me sound like an angry old man, and I'm not. I mean, only a little bit.
Sometimes you are.
But I send my
no
kids to
comment.
a private preschool. I pay a lot of money
Sure.
for private preschool.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an email from their principal that was like, by the way, next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. You should probably do something to say that you appreciate the teachers. And,
Oh.
like, I appreciate teachers. I think public school teachers are very underpaid and not appreciated enough. But this is a private school where I pay a lot of money, and the $20 it would take you to buy cupcakes for everyone wouldn't make a dent in my tuition payment
Sure.
for 1 month. And if this private school doesn't make its teachers feel appreciated, that's the school's fault and not mine.
For public school, Teacher Appreciation Week is...
Yeah, public school teacher appreciation makes sense because public school teachers are not paid the most, and they're not
Right.
appreciated by
Right.
like anybody.
That is
I,
true.
I get it too from a different perspective, just not just Appreciation Day, but I get annoyed by individuals or whoever is supposed to be the subject of this appreciation is the one notifying people to be appreciated. So like your girlfriend comes up and says, "Well, you know, tomorrow's National Girlfriend Appreciation Day."
Yeah,
it's like
I
it's
hate
fine,
that
right? Like that's
day.
cool, whatever.
How many
I don't
times
need
a
to know.
week do I make you dinner?
And it's fine. Like it's cool if I find out and it's there. I will act on it. If I appreciate something, that's great. But please don't shove it down my throat because that just depreciates this whole Appreciation Day thing.
Like it's fun when it's like middle of the day, like both of you kind of forgot about it, and then you see a post and you're like, oh, it's this
Yeah,
day.
'cause I'll
Let's
see
go
it.
have
Don't
something fun.
Don't worry, honey. I'll find out eventually. You don't need to tell me.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, at one point, it was fine. It was like, you know, take your kid to work day. That was a thing that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. And, you know, but now I was looking
I
at...
hated those.
I was looking at a website. Well, I never got taken to work.
Oh,
I
first
never
of
got
all.
taken to work
I
either.
hate it.
I
My
did
mom's an
once.
accountant. I don't want to go to work. What do you? I'm just sitting here in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what a waste of time.
But,
Send me back to school.
like, I was looking up this topic to talk about on the podcast, and the website I found listed for every day in April, there were like 5 or 6 different things. So today is National Telephone Day, National Malaria Day,
What?
and National Zucchini Bread Day.
Hey man, if you love zucchini
Like-
bread day, I'm sure there's somewhere out there that's giving out free zucchini bread.
Zucchini
That's
bread
why
is pretty good.
National Donut Day though, you can't fault that because that's the day. That's
I mean,
Hey,
that's
some
free
days are
donuts.
amazing.
Or
That's
like
the best part
National,
about it.
National
Day.
Pie Day.
yeah.
That's
well,
also pretty good.
See, but that's not even National Pie Day. That's just some mathematicians having fun. Like, and you ruined it. You just ruined the whole thing. And, like, for instance, April 1st. Most people know it as April Fool's Day. Did you know
Right.
it's also 1 cent day? The day dedicated to the worst piece of currency? Don't get me started on my soapbox against pennies.
Wait,
Hey,
maybe.
I am a very big advocate for pennies because I use those pennies.
Why?
It's so nice.
And you know what? Everybody in line behind you hates you
They can deal.
because
I don't
you're
like getting
counting out
changed.
archaic currency that costs twice as much to produce than it is worth.
Maybe it's the youngster in me too, but whenever they have to count out change for me when I pay in cash, I know I should keep it, but more often than not, I'll just put it in the pay it forward bin.
You know,
which is fine because I use that a lot. Anytime
Pay
I'm
it
checking out
forward
something,
bins
I
are
get that
the
a
best.
lot.
I hate it when
Yeah.
businesses don't use those because usually they have really annoying prices where you pay out and it's like 11.01 is your and you get like 99 cents of change and it's like I don't.
Okay, well, I always do a count. Like if I have more than 2 quarters, maybe I'll keep
Or
the
like-
quarters.
Yeah.
11.24.
But I always put the rest of the
Yeah.
change in the pay it
Yeah.
forward bin
It-
because I
when it-
always use it. I use it all the time. Where I'm like, oh
Yeah.
well, I actually need. I
Right.
don't have
Whenever it's
enough
in
money.
like 10 cents of what you need, it's like where's the pay it forward bin? I need this.
So like,
Yeah, I think that's how-
1 cent off a quarter. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
That reminds. That's how I practice all of my social engineering. Is anytime I have any change or like money in my pocket, I will always go to like the gas station, and I know I won't have enough money sometimes, and I'll walk up and be like, "Hey, no one's in line, right? Okay, well, I'll just have a conversation. Yeah, can you help me out here?"
Wow.
Social engineering.
Oh, there you go.
Social engineering.
Ben.
Most of the time, though, this poor gas station employee's got nothing interesting or better
That's
going
true.
on. And,
I did feel
I always
really
have great
bad
conversations
one
with
day.
them. I'm very close actually with the people next door, like next to Ukatsu. I was there with the old. This is off topic again, but I came back from the old the lady, and she was talking about Easter. I asked her how Easter went, and she said, "I was stuck here," and she should have came and visited. And she says, "Well, I'm so sorry. You know, it's okay. Like maybe I'll see you next holiday or whatever." And she said something about Thanksgiving, and I don't remember what she said, but she said something about like having a big Thanksgiving get together. And I was like, hey, you know what? You should stop by and come on or whatever. I'm like, I don't. The point being, it's like this old lady from the gas station.
Invited you to Thanksgiving.
Again, just because we live so close and we go there so often, we give them so much of our money. I know Liv and Teddy personally probably spend like $50 a month on drinks.
The gas station employees the older ones are very nice. I will say that they're all sweet.
I mean, I don't
Just the
know.
ones over there. I don't know about other break times. I don't know about other gas stations.
Because I've definitely
just the ones over there.
experienced some.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. You walk into a
employees.
gas station, a random gas station. There's this like 80-year-old dude who's just like,
or women,
yeah.
and it's just like,
Oh, so you?
No,
so
no,
Jeffrey,
that was-
you're against
no,
women?
no.
Is that what I'm hearing?
It was the gas
Wait a
station
minute.
outside of Battle High School that is right outside city limits because they did a tax on tobacco where you couldn't get tobacco until you're 21 in the city of Columbia, except for this gas station right by Battle that's outside city limits. And it's ran by this Indian couple. And every single high school student would go there to buy their chew and their cigarettes. And they would always just like look at you. So not that I ever did it, and if I did ever do it, it doesn't really matter. But the point being that they just look at you like. Yeah.
so how would you, Ben? If you
Take
haven't
it.
done that, how would you know what they do?
Word gets around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just hear about it.
That is how it works.
Yeah.
That is how it works. If you have a friend that's in one of those like social groups that do it, word gets around.
Yeah. So, I was gonna try to bring us back on topic by telling you guys what day is National Gas Station Day, but I can't find that out.
Oh, there's
I'm
got to
sure
be a national gas
Oh,
station.
There's got to be one somewhere, but I can only Google so much while also hosting a podcast.
Let's see if we can help
Sure.
out here.
Probably be like a churro day or what's one of those foods that they sell in a gas
Oh,
station?
Coffee.
What's churro? The first thing you think of at a gas station.
Churro makes me think of Disney World.
Yeah,
Hot
I
dog
think of
day.
just like I think of
Cinnamon.
like Taco Bell.
Maybe some Slurpees or
Like
Slurpee day.
bag of chips, candy.
hot dog. Yeah,
Single
rotisserie.
slice of pizza.
Yeah, yeah.
Hot dog
Oh,
day, pizza
the
day.
thing that started the whole best worst thing, the corn dog that was a piece of sausage wrapped in a
yeah,
pancake.
there you go.
That was
Wait.
from a gas station.
I have had those at school, but those are good.
No, the one I got at break time
They
next door
can be.
was the worst thing I've ever eaten.
I think
It was
that
so
civic
disappointing.
subject was like the best worst thing is
This
the
should
expectation.
have been so good.
Like the idea is really good, but then
I've
the
also had those at
execution
home.
is awful.
Yeah, go get one from break time and tell me how good it is.
I'm gonna
One that's been there
pass.
spinning on that thing for like 6 hours, got put on like 5 in the morning.
Yep.
Sometimes they got some interesting pizzas over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, no more
And
food
hot
topic. No more
dogs.
food
Yeah,
topic.
no more food
No
talk.
food
We need to
topic.
stop recording this before lunch.
Yes.
Oh, but speaking of other foods, you know, some days of national appreciation are, kind of
Viable.
they're viable. Like there's a National Autism Awareness Day.
That's a
in
good
April.
one.
I think that's a good one. My wife works with
Sure.
autistic
Yeah.
kids a lot, and it's a very misunderstood condition. But you know what? You know what cheapens it? It shares a day with the peanut butter and jelly.
Oh no.
National Peanut Butter and Jelly
Oh,
Day.
that's sad.
Like,
So what
It's-
do you think about months dedicated to something? Like Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
so my problem with Breast
Or-
Cancer Awareness Month, and don't get me wrong, be aware of breast cancer. Go give yourself an exam. Let your boyfriend do it. I don't care. Let your girlfriend do it. Great. But February, which is the month in question, has been Black History Month since before I was born. And it shouldn't have to share its month with Susan G. Komen's whole giant fraud business.
It's already the shortest month of the year. Why
Yeah.
do we got to split it up? Why do we got to share it?
Yeah.
So, like, why couldn't it have been January?
It is
Wait,
kinda
Black
sad.
History Month's February?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wait a
That is the point. That is
Wait a
that is the
second.
point
I
that
did
Tom
not
just
like
made.
History
Wait a
Month
minute.
was in
I thought
February.
it was in fall.
That
No,
is that
it's-
is exactly the point.
So,
I could have sworn it was in fall.
you know how
The
I...
public school system has failed us.
You want to know why I know that it's February? Because it's always struck me as insulting that they set aside the shortest
month
for
of the
Black
year.
History. Like,
It is
you're trying to
insulting.
make, like, Black people feel more integrated in society and people try to understand them and stuff. And, like, you're trying to promote, like, knowledge and exterminate ignorance and racism. But you're going to give them the shortest month?
Yeah, that is not. Yeah.
See, that's how I
Wait,
know
wait.
that February
Wait,
is...
when's Asian History Month though? Wait a second.
Never.
Aren't you the person that told me that you forget that you're Asian more often than
Yes.
not?
That's what I'm saying. I need a month to remember.
I
What is
need a
this?
month to remember.
All we get, wait, every time a Jackie Chan movie comes out, is that all we get? Wait a second.
Man, Jackie
Jeez.
Chan is awesome though.
Jackie
Yeah.
Chan is
Still does his
awesome.
own stunts.
It's okay. We're
How
getting
old
there.
is he?
We're
70 something?
progressing.
I don't know. Did you ever watch Jackie Chan Adventures?
Yes.
That cartoon show.
That was that cartoon show was amazing.
I am 100% sure Jackie Chan had like almost nothing to do with that show.
Still a fun
Have
show.
you guys seen any of the funny Jackie Chan clips? Like before he knew some English?
Mm-mm.
They're super funny. The directors or his cast members tell him to say something.
Oh.
And it's just like, nice.
Wow.
Oh, it's like
We've come a long
teaching
way.
a child to cuss.
Like Arnold. You know?
Yeah.
Dude,
Mr. Arnold's come a long way too.
have you ever seen his first movie? Hercules in New York.
Dude, terrible.
Oh, his
Wasn't that a terrible movie?
So first
I haven't
of
seen
all,
the movie, but
first
I've
of
heard
all,
it
it
was
was
like
terrible.
awful.
But second of all, there are two versions of it floating out there. There's the one where Arnold does all of his lines and they're unintelligible, but in like the best way. And then
It's
there's,
endearing.
Then there's the dubbed version that. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger is so iconic and everybody knows what he sounds like,
Right.
it's like it just takes you straight out of it because the voice dub over is like, "Hello, I am the whitest American.
That is amazing.
You should fear me because I am Hercules, the strongest of the demigods."
Oh.
And it looks like, and you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're like, I know exactly what his voice sounds like, and it's not that.
That's really funny.
But there's a part where he fights like 8 guys with a 2x4. Like he uses a piece of wood to like beat up 8 dudes at once. There's a
my
part
gosh.
where he's riding on like a Central Park carriage, like the horse-drawn carriage ride through Central Park with a girl, and I kid you not, a dude in a bear costume. Supposedly, it's a real bear, but it does not look anything like a real bear. Just like appears in Central Park. So Arnold Schwarzenegger does like a flying, like professional wrestling leap and starts fighting a bear in Central Park.
He did fight a bear in Greek mythology.
Who have I heard this before though? I've heard this exact story from before. Maybe it was you.
Maybe
I don't know.
I have a slight
It's a weird
obsession with
deja
Arnold
vu.
Schwarzenegger. Like his 80s and early 90s movies are a sweet spot for me. I love
really
Running
funny.
Man and Total Recall.
So, Dwayne Johnson and Arnold Schwarzenegger has played Hercules.
A lot of people have played
Wow.
Hercules.
Yeah, I love the meme that's the series of Dwayne Johnson pictures where it's like his like fanny pack wearing early '90s picture, and then it's like him in the WWE.
He still wears a fanny pack.
And then it's him like today where he's just like jacked and like tattooed, and then the next picture is actually a boulder. It's like a rock through the ages.
That's awesome. And
Well, anyway.
fanny packs are useful.
Tweed and tartan also have days in April.
What?
Tweed and tartan, a pattern and a fabric.
Oh.
Let's say words we don't know.
There's
I know
also
the
National
dot above
Find
an
a
eye is
Rainbow
called a
Day.
tittle.
Find a rainbow day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find a rainbow.
I think a
can
big
sing
part
a
of
rainbow.
national holidays that bugs me is not even the national holiday itself.
They're
It
not even
is
holidays.
when people like have nothing to do with the holiday and they just like posting stuff on Facebook and they just like make the day theirs. That's what bothers me. Too.
I don't know. I feel like National Sibling Day is somewhat viable.
No, I've seen Only Child's post about National Sibling Day. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, man, that's
Wait
what
a
your
minute.
social media is for you. You make posts about you. It's all about you. All about you.
So, anyway, let's get off of this topic. They are appreciated by some, and they are not worth it most of the time. Sometimes they're okay. I don't know. So anyway, video game news. Yeah?
I heard that a new champion got leaked
I was about
in
to say
League of
that.
Legends.
Yep, Yumi, the new support champion.
Oh.
Leaked
Has
again.
it-
What's
haven't
this
seen
about?
that.
They can like attach to an enemy and become untargetable?
So it's a new mechanic in the game where this champion can become untargetable, which is not a new mechanic, but she does it by attaching herself to another champion.
So you get to hit someone else.
So she uses an ability and is kind of like an Orianna ball. If you guys know what Orianna is in League of Legends, she can put a ball onto another champion, and you can't attack the ball. And that's kind of what this champion will do with her entire like self.
What parts of her kit can she use while she's
She
attached?
can use all of her spells, but she cannot use her auto attacks. So she's not like a
That still sounds busted.
yeah. So she can use her ultimate on like a Malphite. Yeah,
What-
it's gonna be.
But we
busted.
don't know what her ulti is.
Her ultimate. I do know what. So we know what her W is. We know what her ultimate is. And her
Okay.
ultimate is she releases 7 AOE waves of damage, and if you get hit by 3 of them, you get I think stunned in place.
Dang, damaging supports are real. What is
All
this?
right.
Wait a minute.
I
What?
want more Lulus.
She
and
is also
Sorakas, please.
untargetable while she is riding one of her allies.
Great. One of her allies or one of her enemies?
One of her allies.
How long can she be attached?
I don't know. That wasn't in the kit
But
description.
yeah, we'll find out more.
If it's like 1 second, I'll be like, all right.
No, I have a feeling it's going to be more like an Orianna ball because she has the option to like get on them and then like disengage from them. Which, because there's a disengage option, makes me think that she can stay on them for a
Okay.
pretty decent amount
So
of
this
time.
champion was leaked, but like,
Might not be in its final form.
yeah.
That's true.
This sounds
true.
absurdly busted.
What makes me laugh though is this champion looks like a cat. Right after the April Fools like cats and dogs.
Oh.
So
And Nico.
It's okay.
Kind of,
I'm
yeah.
excited though. So this is like the second new champion, right? After Silas the newest one.
yes, this is the
Yeah.
second new champion.
Yeah, so it'll be the support. Then usually there's 5 a year recently where they do one for each role.
Yeah.
So that's
No,
pretty
third,
exciting.
because there
Third?
was Nico, then there's Silas, and then now
Nico
there's-
was last year's. stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, Nico
Wow.
counted for last year's, I believe.
Huh.
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
So this will be the second one.
Who
Then.
was the jungler last year?
Nico.
No. Was it
I
Nico?
don't know.
We'll look it up. I don't know.
Uh,
But other video game news.
never had anybody yelling at their YouTube screen quite so much as this moment. It's this person, you dummy.
Yep.
So, still in the world of League of Legends, MSI is coming up.
MSI is going to be exciting
Yeah,
after the...
What is MSI?
MSI is like
What does
a
it stand
mini worlds. What does it stand for? Mid-season invitational.
Yep. So that's exactly what it is. It's basically
Did
a
you
big
not know
tournament. He knew what it stood for. He's just trying to make
Okay.
sure people at home knew.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
It's basically like as it says, it's the mid-season. It's a big tournament, one of the biggest national tournaments that's still hosted by Riot. That invites the winners from every single region, the major regions specifically.
Yeah.
And there's now a playing stage for the smaller regions, where it's just a tournament where you get to compete and you get to go against the other regions because it's not very often that actually takes place.
And they got screwed.
Since League of Legends is such a large game across the world, and it'll begin pretty soon actually with the playing stage going on between a lot of the smaller regions, and then 2 of the bigger regions they also have to play in as well. That being North America and the LMS. Those representatives are Team Liquid, I believe, and Flash Wolves that are
Yeah.
great in their own regions, but because they don't do as well internationally at events, they don't automatically make it to the main tournament. So since this is such a big event, they usually have like a
I mean,
pools for the
wait,
smaller
we went to
regions.
semis.
Yeah, traditionally though we don't, and still
Sure.
like it doesn't take into account.
But
So
this
that's
last
the
year.
first 3 weeks ish of May.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
that's gonna be
exciting.
exciting.
The teams that are going are stacked, at least from
Yeah.
the major regions. It's going to be very, very fun.
I'm actually kind of scared for NA because when the play-in drew, we got some pretty nasty teams.
Yeah. So we should still make it to the main tournament, but it'll be fun. It's always fun, and it's a great event for big tournaments for League of Legends.
All right.
In other tournament news, and you mentioned Team Liquid, their representative in Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament this last week got a crab thrown at him.
Yeah, HBox is the number one Melee player right now. Pretty controversial player in general. He's had a lot of run-ins with other pros, and then also for the fact that he plays this character in Melee specifically, which is actually ridiculously stupid. Jigglypuff, which he's known for, and but recently though he's been on top. He's been the number one Melee player for a long time. He's about as impressive of a streak as Armada's had, but he's always kind of been the villain of the scene, and so he won over
called
Mango,
heel.
which is like the crowd favorite. Everyone loves Mango. He's the players, the heroes, or the people's hero or whatever.
Face.
And yeah, after he won, there's someone in the audience literally threw a crab, and a full on steamed crab. They were in
No, it was raw.
raw crab. They were in what was it,
It was-
Maine?
It
Where
was
they
just,
at?
I don't know.
It's somewhere where they can buy crabs a lot in abundance, so it makes sense,
Yeah.
where they're
It
going to
was
buy the
just
crab
a
from.
raw dead crab.
Yeah, and they threw it
Oh,
on
wow.
stage at him, and he had a pretty big outburst and was very upset. I mean,
Yeah.
I
absolutely so.
thought it was a toy crab.
No, it was a
Oh,
once
wow.
living creature.
Yeah.
That makes it much worse.
If you guys know HBox in general, like he's kind of a jerk in general. He really lives off that villain persona, but at the same time, the whole audience before has like, booed his name. He's been pretty hated before in some crowds and some tournaments, but definitely throwing and assaulting him after the match was over
Yeah, and that
was pretty
I don't know. I
unwarranted.
think what's more insulting about it too is that whoever that person was, they came prepared. You don't summon a randomly dead crab and just wow. You come, you're like, I'm gonna nail this dude with the dead
I don't know
crab.
about that. I'm
Like-
I'm sure go back. It's probably a dare, right? It's probably someone's like a dare you to throw this at him, and then probably I don't know where he got the crab from though. I mean that's fair.
Maybe
But
it was alive.
I
until
doubt
its
it
spirit
was an
crushed.
intent. I intended to throw this crab from the
I'm
beginning.
just saying, you don't get a random dead crab from nowhere. You have to
Well,
get that thing someplace.
Apparently,
someplace.
the event organizers know who the culprit is, and they have banned him for life from their events and have shared
for
his
life's pretty good.
information with other tournament organizers, hoping that they will do the same.
Wow. Well, repercussions.
Huzzah! Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a thing that happened.
Yeah, I'm trying to foster a positive community. Melee struggles with that, so
Definitely. Other community news. Epic kind of called out Steam a little bit. They said they'd stop snagging exclusives if Steam started paying more for their games.
which
Just like 18%, I think, is what they want
yeah.
them to start paying.
In the end, I wholly support competition, right? Capitalism. Competition will make things better for all of us consumers. Like the biggest complaint for us, like for a lot of consumers that they have, which the Epic Games claiming exclusivity, is just the fact that the Epic Game client is kind of garbage sometimes compared to Steam. But obviously with how powerful they are, with how much money they have, they'll fix those issues eventually.
A new
But-
client for Epic.
I'd very much
Ooh.
prefer my information not to get stolen and my accounts to get
Yeah.
hacked and.
Just as long as Epic doesn't turn into another Origin client.
Ugh.
Oh
too.
yeah, that was nasty.
Is nasty.
Is
Origin.
Origin's just fun.
But in the end-
Ubisoft is all right.
Didn't you just get your information locked away from?
No, well, okay. I was dumb, and I had my Google Authenticator code sent to my phone through the app, and apparently that's a problem, because if you switch phones, it doesn't give you the codes anymore.
That's the Authy app. The Authenticator app is the best app now available, where you can just connect all of your
Yeah.
phones and all of your authentication codes to.
So now I had to get it deactivated through customer support on Uplay. But I reactivated it, and now it's through my email. So that should never happen again.
I remember that happened to my Blizzard one, where it was connected to like an actual physical authenticator, and then I lost the physical authenticator.
Oh man.
I mean, no, but in general, besides from that one thing, I still like the verification because my account will never get hacked into.
Right.
And also,
Except by that person that has your old phone.
I gave it to the AT&T store, so.
And they gave it to some kid in Malaysia.
Yep.
And
Malaysian sniper.
the account, the actual client is actually really good to bring stuff up and buy, and it's good.
Well, there you go.
Hey, I'm cool if Steam starts paying more too.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a game developer, so I don't really care as long as the game prices don't go up again.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
concern.
That
on
would
us.
be bad.
Games now would cost $70.
It's not too far off. It's gonna happen one of these days.
Yep. It used to be what, 30?
Back
and then it went
in
up to
my
50,
day.
and then now it's
I thought it
60.
was 40.
I think I skipped 40.
It's just
Yeah.
They skipped
yeah.
they skipped 40.
Went
It
from
was
30
30 when it was like Super Nintendo.
Yep.
And then like Game Boy games were like $20.
Yeah. Game Boy games those are actually good.
I mean, people are starting to see though that the free-to-play multiplayers those are the real cash cows. So
Yeah.
I'm just sad at the death of the single-player genre because
Yeah.
No.
those are getting
is-
fewer
Single
and
player
fewer and
campaign
far in between.
RPGs, those don't really exist anymore.
But the ones that are coming out though are great.
Yeah.
And if you're an indie developer or you love supporting indie developers, it's a great time to be alive. There's so many good indie companies out there
Have you
that
seen
are
anything
chugging out
about
games.
Forager?
Yeah, I want to get that game so bad. It's like a cross between an idle game and like a Stardew Valley. Everyone's
Ooh.
playing it. It looks so much
It
fun.
looks like a lot of fun, and there's like
Interesting.
they
I'll
got
check it out.
yeah, they got a lot of little like Easter eggs and stuff. Like you can get a skin that's like Shovel Knight and stuff. And
Yep. That's
things
a
like
good
that.
game.
It's fun.
So, and it really opens up, like, because, you know, like, most of those games you start with, like, one level of technology and stick with it. But, like, in Forager, you can go from, like, chopping down trees and hitting trees with a pickaxe to, like, offshore oil drilling and making robots
that's
and
awesome.
lasers.
You said this is a Switch game?
No, it's not. It's on
not.
Steam right now.
It's on Steam.
It'll probably be on Switch
and
eventually.
Humble Bundle,
Yep.
like, is selling it.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
It's like a good idle
Ooh.
game. If you guys know what those are, it's like your cookie
Yeah.
clicker kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And
You
then
just
your
gotta start
Stardew
it,
Valley.
walk away.
I mean, you have to play it a certain amount before you can really do that.
Yeah.
But like you level up, you get experience from like breaking things, and then one of the skills you get auto collects things.
Okay.
And then like if you get the bank just generates money.
Yeah.
And then you can use money for various things, and then like you can put down mining rods, which are like Tesla coils that like gather resources for you.
My struggle
stuff.
with idle games is remembering to come back.
You come back after a while, your cookie clicker's just boom, insane.
That's true.
Bam.
Your clicker heroes or whatever.
Right. So that's pretty cool. Overwatch is also getting a workshop mode added to the PTR. We watched the Jeff Kaplan talking about it 7-minute introduction video. It was maybe the most boring Overwatch content I've ever seen. I don't know.
It was, yeah.
It made me wonder why Jeff Kaplan is allowed to talk on screen.
Also,
The one thing I got from that video was that it will not be an intuitive workshop.
It's for power users and people with a knowledge of game design.
Yes.
And but apparently it's robust enough that you can even like try out making your own characters.
Yep.
that's cool.
And different game modes. He was
Yeah,
very
lots of people
excited to.
involved.
He was very excited about Molten Floor.
Yeah, lava floor mode, very similar to.
Yeah. No, Forge mode stuff is amazing. I mean, have you seen
Yeah.
this maps are coming out with for Smash Brothers after they came out with that release?
I haven't
There's
seen
so
any of
many
those.
cool custom maps that I want to go in and download. A lot of them are just memes.
Yeah.
It's pictures of stuff, but then there are really cool ones too. There's one I want to try out. It's like you're on a spinning ball. And like, so you can't stand still, like you're trying to walk on the spinning ball, and like there's lava walls that come in and
Oh.
crush everyone from every angle too, and you have to like try to battle to be on top of the ball. And
That's kinda
Oh my
fun.
gosh, that sounds fun.
but yeah, I
Sounds
mean,
pretty cool.
the majority of like for these massive games, only a small percentage of them are playing competitive. You know, especially at a higher level, and the majority of players are playing like ARM for League or normals, or they're playing in just the limited time modes for Fortnite. That's where the majority of
Yeah.
players are experiencing. So
Yep.
Do you know
getting
what
the
they
tools.
should add on Smash? A gravitational ball.
they added a bunch of tools in
So,
the
yeah.
make your own mode.
Yeah.
You can make like planets.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Pretty
it.
fun.
They might have. I haven't played around with it personally.
So, tonight, I don't know what you guys are doing.
I
but
forgot we were going to talk about
I'm
this.
going to see Avengers Endgame.
Tonight being
no.
Thursday night because we
coming with
record
us?
this on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, you made it so that you
Oh,
were going
wow,
yourself,
nice
and I was
job,
like,
Ben.
are we going separately?
I wasn't
Nice
gonna try to
job.
make
Forget
anybody
who's
feel
in the
left out.
party. Nice job.
I'm just wondering. The way you said it, I wasn't sure. I was like, wait, where's Tom? Is Tom going with us?
It's called hosting, Ben.
I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't know who's going. Liv just
but-
bought the tickets. I don't know who's going.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna show up.
But Avengers Endgame, all I've heard is hype. I've not heard anything negative, just hype.
So this is what billions and billions of dollars,
Billions of dollars.
and like more than a decade of work has been building toward
Yep.
since 2008's Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be a big deal. Like it's getting pretty good reviews so far.
I haven't looked at any of the reviews because
I'm
they've always
actually interested in
give me bad expectations.
in like the writers, like an interview with one of the writers, and see if they actually expected it to go this far when Iron Man
did.
came out. They had this entire thing
Yep.
planned out over.
Maybe not every specific project.
That's what I'm talking about. Like every specific project, like
But
the details
the
for everything.
general-
how
They
it
wanted
all-
to get to the end game.
They-
though.
the general
The whole plan
thing,
was to get
though.
to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as early as like 2011, 12, you were hearing stories about like there's gonna be 3 Thor movies and 3 Iron Man movies and 3 Captain America movies, and there's gonna be 3 Avengers movies, and they're all gonna
Yeah.
culminate with Thanos, and like
For a long time, they've had from the beginning pretty much.
Yeah.
They've had pretty much everything planned out.
so.
That's true,
Like
but
I think they
things
added
change.
things like Black Panther and Ant-Man were kind of like, and especially Spider-Man since Sony owned it
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time. But like those were kind of curveballs thrown in during
Good
this-
curveballs.
Yeah, good,
but-
definitely. But like not, like Sammons is saying, not part of the original plan.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Like all the deviations
Like
from the
probably
original
Captain
plan.
Marvel also.
And how do you
I don't know.
how do you come into this and how do you close out a story like this? It's like Game of
Exactly.
Thrones, right?
Well,
It's
they're
hard
not
not to
closing
have
the story.
No, but I mean,
but
it is closing the story on
the-
these guys'
It is
tales.
the
on a
art
lot of
Yeah.
of closing. Like my question is like, what's the next movie? What's the next big bad? What's
how
the
do you
next
follow it up?
This is Spider-Man. Spider-Man's the next one.
Well, but like, so they've been teasing Thanos since the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, but what's the
Right.
next big
And-
arc villain?
So who's that next
Oh.
villain gonna be? What are they gonna be building towards?
Who's
Because
the next big bad?
Maybe it's
I wish Civil War was bigger because in the comics, Civil
Gladiator.
War is such a big
they
event,
wasted.
and I
Yeah.
feel like they really let
wasted
us
the
down
name
there.
Civil War, especially now that they got X-Men back.
Yep,
Yeah.
Wait,
been so
what?
significant.
The Civil War.
Oh, Fox.
yeah.
duh.
Fox got bought out
Yeah.
by Disney, and Civil War was a large comic crossover event.
I know what Civil War is.
Yeah, but it involved heavily
Wolverine
mutants.
and- yeah.
Yep.
and,
Very
uh,
unfortunate.
like it was all about mutants and not just
Hey,
superheroes in general.
Maybe they'll do what they did with Hulk and call it Civil War and not change the name at all. It'll be a completely different movie.
Maybe. I don't know. Marvel's committed a lot of resources. I think it'd be very difficult for them to do a full reboot like DC is. Like I don't want to get off topic here, but Batman doing the whole reboot—that's pretty exciting.
I'm kind of surprised that
but-
they still are going through with X-Men: The Dark Phoenix.
Everyone likes Sophie Turner.
I mean, yeah, Sophie Turner's great. It's just since Fox got bought out, and I'm sure X-Men, Disney wants to start incorporating X-Men into...
But it's probably one of those projects that's so far along that canceling it now would have
Yep.
been not in Fox's best interest, so it wouldn't have been part of the contract.
Okay, sure.
I'm thinking.
Probably.
Because that means they'd have to include those people into Marvel movies in the future. I'm excited for Phase 5 or is Phase 4
I think-
starting?
I think this is
after?
Phase 4 starting technically.
Okay.
I think because I don't know what to call this series. This Thanos overarching story.
It's
but
Phase 1, 2, and 3, and then
But is it like
I think after Endgame is Phase 4.
yeah? But then like what do you call the culmination of Phase 1, 2, and 3? Do you call that like
3.5.
no, I mean like you got
Yeah.
Phase 1, 2, and 3.
2 and
There should be
3/4.
like there should be a taller, bigger name. Like
I
you know,
agree.
like in Star Wars, you can say the original trilogy, and you're talking about 6, 7, 8.
Maybe they'll
Can't just say the Thanos
maybe
arc.
I
that
did I
covers-
just say
Thanos
6,
arc.
7, 8, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6? Wow, somebody punched me in the face.
and maybe a name will occur in the next couple years, but I don't know. I'm okay with saying Phase 1, 2, and 3 right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's even hit me yet that we're gonna watch this tonight. It's gonna be a 3-hour
It's
experience.
3 hours. That's why I'm missing D&D on Saturday.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm.
Sorry.
I don't know
You're
if
not
I'm
ready, Ben. I'm not ready.
I don't even
This
know
is
if
gonna
like,
be epic.
The trailers didn't spoil anything.
No,
Yeah.
The
nothing.
trailers haven't spoiled anything. I have
Except for
no
the
clue.
sweet hairdos.
They also
Oh,
spoiled the fact
yeah.
that
New
Ant-Man
outfits.
got out of the dimension.
Yeah.
I really hope they explain that.
Yeah, we watched
They
it. we
better
watched
explain
it. So
that.
Joe and I hadn't seen either Ant-Man movie. We watched both of them in a row yesterday, and I was like, man, I really wish I
Oh.
watched it. These are great. I
Yeah,
love the Ant-Man
Ant-Man's
movies.
hilarious.
I love
Ant-Man
Paul
is
Rudd.
Rudd.
great.
I love Paul
the
Rudd.
sidekick. Who's
The minority sidekicks
who's
every
the
time.
who's the Mexican guy? What's his name?
Oh.
Peña. Yeah.
Michael Pena.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love his like
The explanation.
storytelling. Where
Oh,
he,
yeah,
He was
yeah.
an annoying sidekick. Like it was actually like I like him on screen. He's not taking away
All
from
of
this.
his- I think
it's not some
I
He
find
serves a good
minority
purpose.
comedic relief.
I've seen quite
For
a
the
few
sake of
movies
it.
he's in recently, and he's actually pretty good in all
He's
of them.
really
He's
good.
a good actor.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Hawkeye coming back. I don't really like Hawkeye, but I like that actor. I saw the movie
Jeremy Renner's
Tag.
great.
Yeah, I saw the movie Tag the other day, and he was great in that
I
movie.
wanna see
I loved
that
it.
so
It's a
bad.
good.
It's
on
a good
HBO.
movie.
It's
on
on
HBO.
All right.
Yeah, it's a great
I
movie,
love
and
the
it's him
movie.
playing more of like a comedic role too. And it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
usually
yeah.
him. It's very funny. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But
And it's based off of a true story, and they actually talked with the original guys that did it, and it was great.
Nice.
yeah,
This is
Very
gonna
cool.
be exciting.
So, anyway,
Okay.
I don't know if we're gonna do a spoiler-filled episode about
Yes.
Endgame or a spoiler-free.
Next week, the entire podcast is spoiler for Endgame.
There should definitely be a
Maybe.
spoiler warning
And
where it's
we-
like minutes 1 through
35.
will be spoiler
When are we gonna
content.
do our Game of Thrones podcast here? Because episode 3 is coming out next week. This entire week is gonna be filled with great stuff.
I'm
Can't
on season 4, episode 8. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting.
It might have to be without Jeffrey
I
here.
love
no,
the.
I'm getting
Okay.
there. Just
Let me-
wait.
I don't
I'm
know,
getting there.
I don't know where it is. It showed up on Reddit. It showed up on Facebook. I don't know where it came from, but it's like summary of episode 2 without spoilers.
Oh, and it shows you, like,
it's
the
like
4
4 different
panels.
pictures, and they're
Yep.
hilarious. If you-
They've been doing that for every episode for a while now,
They're
and
so
they're
funny.
usually
I'm
funny.
serious. I'm getting close. I'm making progress.
You're so close. You're only
I'm-
2 seasons behind.
I'm making progress. I'm getting there.
The best part is like where he's at now. He could still have just read the books and be caught up. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
But that takes longer. That takes
That
a lot
does
longer.
take longer.
I,
The
I,
book-
I,
the
I,
books
I,
are
co-
super
I
long.
committed to those books when I first started watching Game of Thrones.
Dude.
And I loved it a lot. There's such a big deviation now, though. Like,
The
I have
first
no,
3 books are so good.
It
I
could
mean,
have been
I'm
a very
gonna-
different
By
look.
the time episode 3 is coming out on Sunday.
Yeah.
By the time episode
You'll be on like
4
season 4, episode 9 by then.
no, I won't.
Oh, so you're not gonna watch anything before Sunday?
By the time I think halfway through between episode 4 and 5, I think I'll be caught up.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm
Nope.
really close.
No,
really
he's-
close.
You're
Honestly,
not gonna be
honestly,
caught up.
because you gotta watch the whole series like multiple times. You gotta catch everything. And you gotta,
Yep.
No, I mean I'm watching the series for the first time
Yeah.
right now, so I'll be caught up. By especially
This is gonna
definitely
be a
by
fun
the time
weekend.
the last episode comes out, I'll be 100% caught up no matter what.
This is going to be an amazing weekend, regardless. Starting today until
Can't believe
Sunday.
it's starting today.
It's going to be amazing.
Starting today.
Yep.
I'm ready.
I'm
Lots
watching
of-
Critical Role tonight though.
Lots of media.
And the NFL drafts tonight too. There's so much
And
stuff
the
going
NFL
on tonight.
draft.
NFL draft.
There's a lot going
Shield
on.
Hero came out last
Drew Lock.
night.
I'm excited to see which team he gets drafted to.
Yeah, whatever backup he'll be for the rest of his career, I'm fine with
Backup?
that. Yeah, Drew Lock.
He's going
Yeah.
first round.
No, he's going to
He's
be
going
back.
first round to a trash team that doesn't need him because he's not a good
Is-
quarterback.
He's
but-
gonna be Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna
Oh.
sit in the background
You know
for
who he
years and
reminds
years.
me of? And I've seen. I mean, I watch a lot of Film Room, which is like a YouTube channel that does like breakdowns of the draft. And I follow like college football and NFL a lot. Like perfect comparison. Like he is Blaine Gabbert. He is basically just gonna be Blaine Gabbert.
I went to high
Came from
school.
Missouri, and he's
went to
gonna
high
be a
school with Blaine
backup for
Gabbert.
his entire career. No, nothing against
Really?
Drew Lock.
Yep.
Like
He was a freshman when I was a senior. He
kinda
was
cool.
the freshman for the quarterback when I was, he was the freshman quarterback when I was the starting center for the varsity team.
wow,
He could have put his hand in my crotch.
definitely could have. That'd
But
been a
he
special
didn't.
moment. No. But
Oh.
I don't know. Who knows? There's a lot of QB prospects that I think could go higher, and either way, he's not high enough that he's going to go to a team that needs a QB right away. So he's going to be a backup
I mean-
no matter what.
The Broncos need a QB, and they're not.
The Broncos
in the
need a
draft.
lot of things.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't think he fits Mr. Elway's.
I bet if he doesn't start this year, he'll start next year. I think so.
You want to bet?
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
Let's do this off air. We don't need to be encouraging gambling and wild speculation, I suppose. But I think that's going to do it for this week's podcast. Does anybody have anything additional they'd like to say?
No matter what happens, listen to the next podcast.
Yes.
Because so many great things are going to happen
It's
between
gonna
this
be-
and the next one.
It's going
so.
to be a good podcast next week. Also, I'm sorry if you show up at Stevens Lake for the CF walk.
Well, luckily
I'm sorry.
they'll never know because that podcast didn't get released.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yay,
it doesn't
terrible
even
audio.
matter.
Hopefully we did a better job this
But it
week.
was at Bethel
Hopefully.
Park.
Is it still coming up?
What do you mean?
When was that
What
day?
are we talking about
It's
since
on
no one
Saturday.
knows?
It's this Saturday,
Yeah,
right?
Saturday
Since
morning.
no one
So it's
knows
gonna
what
be
we're
this
talking
past
about.
Saturday. by the
Since
time
no
you
one knows
hear
what
it.
we're talking
Right.
about, what are we talking about since it
So
wasn't released?
when you're hearing
Oh.
this, the Saturday before you ever get the chance to hear this,
Yeah. Would have
There's
been
a-
is the Great
yeah,
Strides
they're not
walk.
going to hear it.
Great
Yeah,
Strides
no.
Cystic Fibrosis Walk at Bethel Park.
Yeah.
But if you somehow get the opportunity to hear this before it gets released next
Somehow.
Tuesday, after that Saturday,
Indeed.
show up.
If you can go back in time, you probably have better things to do.
Time warp.
All right, guys, this has been another episode of the Ukatsu Podcast. I have been Tom, along with Sammons, Jeffrey, and Ben, and we'll talk to you guys next week.